Welcome to day 5 of working with the KH260. Today we're doing thread lace. This is basic thread lace. Into the thread lace video, we are going to use card number 15, which is the leaf. I'm actually going to put the clips on this time. We are going to do both basic thread lace and single motif thread lace. I have chosen a very vibrant hunter green and a very stark white. As far as I know, thread lace takes the thick yarn and thin yarn to make a faux lace, which would be ideal for making children's sweaters where you don't want little fingers to get stuck in little holes. So keep that in mind. I stand by what I always say. Check out other YouTubers. They have much better videos on this than I do. One of the best I have found is Kate Winslow, the Answer Lady Knits. Her thread lace video is bar none the best I've ever seen. Right now I'm going to do a weaved cast on, and then we are going to do both methods of thread lace in the same sample. So it's a combo. Alright, so the main thing about thread lace is that you need to turn off the end needle selector. You find the end needle selector information on page 42. So we have non-working position, they are on an angle. Working position, they are upright. And I will, when we're done, I'll show you my carriage. Okay. We are using card 15P. Our card is in the feeder. It's locked in. We're on row 1. I'm going to take my carriage outside of the knitting and turn it to KC. Okay, so now we're in KC. We will now knit across. We have a whole variety of things that were kicked out. Now, we're going to push both buttons in, unlock the card, and introduce our second yarn. Our second yarn is noticeably thinner than the first one. I'm putting a clip on it. I'm just going to hang on to it for a second. As you can see, the end needles did not get kicked out, which is important. What you can also see is that the yarn carries along both. Let me pause for a sec. Okay, the other thing you can see is that I have both the green and the white are on selected needles, but the white carries on every single needle. So the thinner yarn is being carried every single needle, and the main yarn, which is in feeder A, is the one that is doing the patterning this time. So it's kind of a reverse button, I guess, is the way to look at it. Okay, so I'm going to continue knitting this for, I'm going to say about 20 rows. So let's go 0, and this is row 1. Okay, we're going to continue really slowly. Okay, we're almost at 20 rows. I think I might as well make it 25. Okay, so that's 25 rows. I'm now going to turn off patterning and reset the punch card, and then we'll put in the single motif cams. Okay, welcome back. We'll bring out our single motif cams again. If I didn't show this to you before, there is a right hand and a left hand. They snap together and they go in the bow ties. So in the red bar bow ties. I'm going to put them here. Push them all the way back. Now the carriage is going to go into SM again. So single motif. Right over there, SM. The card is locked in. We're now going to come back. As you can see, there's only patterning in the center. Now this is where the interesting magic happens with thread lace. And I'm going to straighten my camera. All right. We are unlocking our punch card, pressing in both center buttons. We are still in SM, and we're going to knit another 30 rows. Now here you can see where it's grabbed both yarns and it's knit them through. So it's almost plating it, if that makes any sense. Okay, this is 30 rows of single motif. I'm going to remove our motif now. Carefully put this away. Turn off patterning. Lock the punch card. I'm going to cut my white yarn again. Lock it in. Let it drop. And now I'm just going to knit a few rows. Row 10. Attention 10, not row 10. I'm now going to cut this. Drop that. I'm going to take all my weight off. Going to take off my clips. hanging on to the cast on comb, and I knitted it off. All right. Can you see any pattern? Not really. Can you see any pattern on this side? Not really. So again, this was a poor choice on what it was supposed to look like. Let me see if I can find my other example. Okay. So this is the end of the knitting. And this is the same as before. You can kind of see the pattern showing up. I think if I'd used an even thinner yarn, you would get the idea as to what it's all about. But I didn't want to go too thin. So, if you want to try it with an even thinner yarn, by all means. Try it with a yarn that is close to the main yarn. You get an even cooler effect. But you can kind of see how it's a little lacy, right, on that one. And kind of see the laciness on that one. Well, that is thread lace. And basically that's plating. So next up, we're going to dive into plating and then plating with tuck. So stay tuned for that video tomorrow on CJ's Knits. Next up, plating.